What's going on, Sagittarius? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a phenomenal week so far. So for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just abundant, Sag. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy how yourself has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Because it's General Energy Weekly Spread. I'm sorry. I was worried about I was going to run out of dance moves there, Sag, but we're doing all right. But with this weekly spread, whenever you happen to come across this video, there may be some messages in here for you. And, depending on when you're watching this here, Sagittarius, your ruler just went retrograde a couple hours ago. So, you're getting into a very kind of we're all in a pretty retrograde heavy season right now. But, you might be really feeling that there, Sag. So, something to be mindful of. But, what else I was going to say? This is what happens when I go off script. But this is a general reading. There we go. Not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Sag. So, I'm going to pull a few oracle cards from this deck here, and then we will get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? Thank you. And in case of y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below are some links for some other readers that I like watching Sagittarius, so definitely check them out. I think you'd really enjoy them. But let's go ahead and get into your first card here. Oh, all right, we need to put some boundaries up there, Sag, because you got the 9th card of Aries, which is Shield card. And with this card, this is a card of defensive, protect, support, safeguard, block, guardian, stand up for, being prepared, heroic, stronghold, security, ward off unwanted energies, be on guard and withstand. And the energy that's coming through here, Sag, is the security. And I feel like for some, maybe that's been like, it actually makes sense. Because partway too, considering your ruler is retrograde, but your ruler is in a sign that is very big on security. It's in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is about security, stability, and whether that be financial, that be even like emotional, possibly. It could, they're anything that they're looking for a strong foundation, and maybe for some that's what we've been craving, that sense of security, and however that might be manifesting for you. And it may be in this place where it's taking a little bit longer than we had expected, just because, with your ruler being in such a, because Taurus energy is a little bit slower moving than the other signs. It takes a little time to, for the energies for them to kind of get moving there. It's not that to say that you're not going to be abundant and that you're not going to find the security, but we're more so kind of thinking about that long-term game with your ruler being in Taurus for the next year. And so maybe this is something where we're maybe thinking about, like, doing stuff for our finances, for example, or maybe we're thinking about investing in a home space, or maybe even like a kind of evaluating the security that our relationships bring with one another, whether this be maybe in our maybe with our family, maybe with our friends, even maybe with like a partner, or even for something too, maybe we've been thinking about like our job security and things along those lines. Maybe we want to set up like get a side gig possibly started, or get a couple streams of income, because it's always fun. I forgot which sign I was telling this to, but it's always fun. It's interesting how companies need 2-week notice for you to leave, but they don't need a 2-week notice for them to get rid of you. So not to say that I feel like that you're going to be losing your job or anything along those things there, Sag, but just I feel like it's, we're in a time where it's just like, I feel like we're in a time of like maybe preparation and really kind of thinking about the future here, and what that and how that, just paying attention to the areas that we may not be as stable as we could be. But let's get some tarot on this and get some details. All right, Sag, let's see what's going on here. Hmm. Oh, interesting. Quite a bit of people here, Sagittarius. So you have the Strength card and the Queen of Cups in reverse, and then we have the Nine of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, and then the King of Swords. And I feel like with the Nine of Swords popping up here, that there is this fear here. Maybe we've been worrying about, I don't know, and it may not be even like a strong thing. It may even be more of like a nagging feeling or just like a hunch or something where just something feels off or that something doesn't feel as stable as it could be. Again, this could be possibly with like our finances here. Maybe we're even thinking like maybe we have this plan, but it's even for example, but there's this lack of confidence that I feel like is popping up there. And now with the King of Swords being here, I feel like it's time to, if we're noticing those things, those doubts and whatever those are, I feel like the King of Swords is like inviting you to explore that more, to really kind of see what we can do to where we're not feeling these energies of anxiety or fear or stress or anything along those lines here. Because I feel like if there's something that's if there's an emotion that throws off the Queen of Cups, that's one that definitely warrants our attention there, because she's this is Cancerian energy. And the Queen of Cups, she really values all of her experiences in life because they've made her the person who they are, or made her the person who she is today. But it almost feels like that there's this energy of, I don't know. I feel like it's maybe something here recently. It's like I feel like we're doubting maybe a move that we made early on, something that may have felt maybe it was a little rushed, or we just maybe didn't even have all the pieces that we needed with the Page of Pentacles here. Because it's not that he's naive or anything, but it's just like maybe circumstances may have kind of rushed things along, or you needed to kind of cook up, manifest something a little faster than we wanted to, and it wasn't, we got it done, but it wasn't pretty, and now we're kind of reevaluating this things. It's like, how can we make this thing, whatever this area is, a little bit more stable. But I'm also kind of getting with the Queen of Cups too that there's a need to, in a sense, just kind of just make sure, even in getting all of this stuff figured out, that sense of security, that is a lot of pressure, to have on the body and have on the mind all the time. Because the Nine of Swords is just like, no matter what you're doing, we're constantly thinking about this, again, this energy that's making us unstable. It's like we're being, it's like, I feel like for some, it's like we're being like extremely kind of calculated, possibly, something along those lines. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but to have that constant stress on your mind, it can affect your health and things long term. There isn't medical advice or anything along those lines, Sag, but it can, sap away from your vitality and things. So, all right, Sagittarius, just something to think about there. Let's get some tea. Do a little deep breath there, and get another oracle on the mix. Okay, thank you. Let's see what's going on here, Sag. Interesting. Yeah, we might need to be still for a second, because we have the ninth card of Taurus, which is the Still card. And with this card, this is a card of refinement, taste, culture, style, fine-tune, concentrate, develops over time, purify, filter, draw out, infusion, spirits, alcohol, perfume, reduction, and cultivation. Interesting, Sagittarius. So the energy that's really just more so just kind of coming through here is the actual, just the still of this energy. And I do feel like that for some, maybe we've been in this energy of just constantly being on the move all the time, whether this is like, physically we've been running around like crazy trying to get things figured out, or maybe it's just, again, maybe our mind has been just kind of cranking as of late. Because even thinking with the King of Swords, this is Gemini energy for me. And Gemini energy is one where it can be overactive, thinking about all the possibilities, getting down to the details. And I feel like that being your opposite sign, you're a sign, you think a lot too, Sagittarius. It's like, I feel that And I feel like that's the trickiness kind of with being sort of Jupiter ruled, is that, it's, Jupiter really does think about, like, in the grand scheme of things, and I feel like thinking about that big picture stuff all the time, and it's just like, are we getting to those steps there? Again, it can weigh down on the body, and there's a lot of just like mental strife I feel like is going on here, and it's just like thrown everything out of balance, because when the mental's off, then the physical and the spiritual is off there, Sagittarius, as well. So maybe for some there's a need to maybe do some meditation, considering that your ruler's going is retrograde. Follow his example, maybe just do some deep breathing, or maybe it's like doing like King of Swords, getting out in nature, or even just like basking in the sun, getting by some water like the Queen of Cups, or you know however it is you can get into that sort of zen sort of place, and really kind of just allow yourself a moment to just pause and not to have to think about that stuff. And I know, we got like responsibilities and all these things, but they'll still be there even when you take a moment and just get your energies back in line, because if we're operating from this place where you're not harmonizing with the universe, then things just start getting out of whack, and that's where I feel like we get into sort of reactive energy as opposed to a proactive one there, Sagittarius. But let me get a little more get some tarot on this. Thank you. Let's see what's going on here, Sagittarius. Oh, all right. So you have the King of Wands, one of your cards, the Hanged Man, and the Ten of Pentacles in reverse here, and then we have the Nine of Pentacles, and then the Four of Wands here, Sag. And I feel like that for some, it's like we've been. That's interesting that you got both the Nine and Ten of Pentacles here. I feel like a lot of us have been kind of working towards that Ten of Pentacles here, but it almost feels like that it's not necessarily that it's elusive. It's just I feel like that we want it now. I feel like there's this rush energy that's kind of going on here right now, and I almost feel like that there's this epiphany that some have had. It's just like we might need a little more patience with getting to this stuff. We're gonna again we're playing the long game here, and I feel like that wasn't part of the plan. With the King of Wands being in reverse, and I feel like when the King of Wands is in reverse, that is how you end up in a Hanged Man situation, because he is the type that usually keeps a cool head. He's got a lot of heat that he's bringing, and he is divinely protected. Being have these salamanders on his cloaks. That's meant to be protection from fire, protection from harm and things. But it feels that I don't know, it's like we had planned on being in this state of celebration, or being in this state of I don't know, just being further along maybe than we had anticipated, and it's just like that. I feel like the Hanged Man in this instance is almost saying that we just again we instead of I feel like maybe we've come out of like meditating on this stuff too soon, or maybe we not necessarily executed a plan too soon, but it's just like again there's this jumping the gun type of energy, and again a need to just like kind of see things for what it is. It's just like it may not be happening as fast as we would like, but things are moving along. It's like as we're putting stuff into action, the universe and higher self needs a moment to kind of get that stuff getting that stuff cooked up, and helping the move the energies to where it needs to be. But I feel like if we keep trying to force it, it's just going to keep exacerbating the problem and keep us in this state of Nine of Swords, just again of constant, like I almost am even getting like a panic sense. And this might be something too, just considering that you got a few people here. Maybe this is energy of where for some it's like we might need to ask for some help possibly with this, or whatever this plan may be. But yeah, let me get a little bit more on this Four of Wands here. All right, so the Four of Wands is clarified by the Judgment card, and then you have the Judgment card upright, and then you have the Five of Swords in reverse. And I almost feel like that for some, maybe we've reached out to others, but I feel like maybe for some it's like we've turned some ideas away. It's not that we don't think that they're good ideas, but it's just like maybe for some they're like it's not the ideas that we want to hear. It's like maybe someone's like, well, you just got to be a little patient there, Sagittarius, or we got to do this, or it's just like there's not that immediate result that we're looking for, but it feels like with the Judgment card, it's like we're trying to reclaim this sense of power again. You know, that we're trying to just change, really kind of do this like sort of radical change, or not radical, but we are trying to get things moving and really kind of transform stuff here. But I'm even kind of getting with the Judgment card that there is this need to just sort of like you've done all that you can right now, possibly, and that there's a need to just kind of surrender and let things sort of play out. You know, this is we're in a patient energy, and listen, Sagittarius, I get that. I absolutely get that. I just a little sidebar. I had a little situation kind of pop up not too long ago, and I kind of tapped into. I got a lot of Leo in my chart, and I tapped into a lot of heat and tried to get some things moving there. And now I'm kind of in this sort of waiting game too, and it's just like that can be, you know, when you're in that state of waiting, you do. It's just like, well, crap, man, like even though you know it's like it's coming up, it's just like, well, maybe if I do something else, it can do something. You know, like it's like you're always trying to think about, well, what next? What next? What next? What next? What next? And it's just like nothing's next. Just be still, be slow, be intentional. You know, we were just in Aries energy, just fueling, going. You know, just pumping and cranking, and now we need to be in Taurus energy where we slow down, do some self care with the Queen of Cups, and just kind of do some breathing. And I know again that can be difficult depending on how this may be manifesting here, but you're working towards your Empress energy. You're doing, especially if you've been doing the things that you need. You know, just trust that it's all going to, as opportunities come up for you to move to that state of completion, then you will. Because after the Judgment card is the World, where we are ending a cycle, but it's just like there's still some things that are being weeded out. I feel like are being worked out in here. And I even been kind of getting again, like I'm really kind of getting with this Five of Swords here. Even if there's nothing that people can do, maybe even just like sharing this stuff to kind of maybe take this burden off of you, just like a little bit, so that it's just like it's not just something that's just weighing on your head. Because who knows, even if a person can't provide like the solutions that you want. You know, sometimes just having someone to just to get that stuff out there, just like that again, that sense of surrender in the sense of just like I'm not sure what to do next, you know, and it's just like it sucks being still, and I'm like, you know, and then just like and just again making a peace with that for a while. It's not going to stay like that forever, but I feel that in that moment it can feel like that. So yeah, I hope that makes sense, Sagittarius. All right, let's get your last oracle card. Oh, interesting. So you have the second card of Scorpios, which is the olive branch card. And with this is a card of truce, surrender, giving in, come to terms, suspend, lull, de escalate, make amends, peace offering, winding down, halt, reprieve, ceasefire, treaty, and agree to disagree. And the energy that's coming through here, Sagittarius, is the giving in. And I feel like that's kind of what's needing to kind of happen here, you know. So it's almost like extending an olive branch with the universe. It's just like, all right, fine. I've done what I can. I'm trusting that this is going to, that I'm divinely guided, and that this is going to get figured out, you know? I may not have all the answers at this moment, and maybe that's something too, just thinking with the King of Swords. Maybe you feel like it's just like you're used to just like having all the solutions and things along those lines and knowing what the next move is. But it feels like now it's just like when it comes to executing the stuff, it's like things have not been coming out to how we planned with the King of Wands, you, and now it's just like I feel like it's just like, okay, I'm not gonna force this thing, because otherwise I feel like we're going to essentially kind of stay in this hanged man situation where it's just like we're gonna keep repeating stuff again and staying until it's time, and it's just like when that's going to happen, who knows? And I'm not going to say it's not going to be by the time that Jupiter goes back direct, because Jupiter, I think, goes direct. I want to say towards the end of December. So I'm not going to say it's going to take that long, Sagittarius, but it is. I feel like the energies are going to be a little bit slower at the moment, but we can still get some things done. But it's just that we can't. We're about quality work, and not in doing in. And I'll tell you what, Sagittarius, because it's not saying that we're not doing anything when I'm saying like we're giving in. It's just we're accepting that change, Scorpio energy. It takes a moment, but I feel like you'll start noticing things start to get together, and you'll start seeing when it's time to act and things as this stuff starts moving. Like, and that may not be the answer that we want at the moment, but it all will pay off long term. And then I feel like everything that this situation here, it's going to all make sense as things start to come to fruition. Because again, it's not going to be where the energies are just not moving. It's just that it's just higher stuff when they're cooking up, they want to make sure that you're really getting your full amount of abundance and really getting what you want in the end. But let's get your last tarot on this. I love that. And see, there's your ruler. Wheel of Fortune. Jupiter there. I like that. That's what I mean, Sagittarius. Hold on, let me get your other cards before we get into that. Oh, how funny. Alright, well, you may not find it funny, Sagittarius, but... Well, because it's interesting, because you got the Emperor in reverse here, and then you got your ruler, Wheel of Fortune, Taurus, the Hierophant, and then you got the High Priestess. Divine counterparts here, Sagittarius, and let's switch back over. Because that's interesting. That Jupiter would pop up with Taurus. Because again, Jupiter is in Taurus right now. And I feel that this is... And that's actually really nice. I feel like this cycle here, it's just like Jupiter is in a more so kind of zodiacal sense. I feel like Jupiter is really being your teacher right now, because a Hierophant can be one of like a mentor and things, and I feel like it is. I don't know. I feel like you are in a state like right now. You are in a very intuitive energy. I feel like you're a very spiritual sign, and you're powerful, intuitive, Sagittarius, being Jupiter ruled. But right now, I feel like again there's this energy of just kind of like we were talking with the still card, of being still and kind of surrendering to the energies of the universe, really kind of listening to those divine messages. Is it really time to make this move, or is it time to it almost feels like that you're in a this is like in a sense almost like a lesson in a sense. This is not a lesson, this is a learning experience. I feel like maybe more so with this energy, with the with the Wheel of Fortune and the Hierophant being here. And this is going to make you a lot wiser. I feel like as you're going through this thing, Sagittarius, and you're going to, again, as things, as the moves make sense, you'll be getting those like inspiration. But it's just like, oh, I didn't think to do that. Like maybe I can do this sort of thing, or maybe there's this resource that I hadn't thought to tap into yet. Or so really pay attention to your your intuition right now. Pause. Do some meditation. Something along those lines. But because I feel like in this last little bit here, the high priestess is a very mysterious figure. She doesn't, where the Hierophant shares his wisdom and is willing to, to teach all of those, who's ever willing to come to learn. The high priestess, I feel like she's she only lets those select few really kind of see behind the veil of her. She's represented by the moon, and the moon deals with our subconscious and the things that we keep hidden. When we think about our moon sign, that's the energies that we show to people who are really kind of close to us, and that really kind of understand. But the Hierophant, again, he's an energy of divine wisdom and of perseverance and of patience and see, your abundance is coming, and the security is coming. It just needs I feel like it just right now it just needs a little time to kind of cook up there, some Sagittarius. So I think I'm gonna leave that there. I hope that made sense. But if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and share this, Sagittarius, because I feel that can be disheartening sometimes when it feels like that when we're, especially when we don't feel secure in on this journey. I feel like that we always want to rise up and do things all the time, but sometimes even the emperor needs to sit down for a second and be, because if he forces this stuff, things get a little messy there. So it is something to think about there. If you notice maybe one of your Sagittarians who's been, I don't know, been kind of feeling this energy. And then if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that bell button, get notified when I release videos each week. And then last little bit, look at you. Got a little Queen of Cups here, and even got our ruler trying to come over to my other channel there, Sagittarius. Not that you need any of them. But if you have any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, my Sun signs in Cancer, come on over to the charity then, friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss all the lunar shenanigans, and it's a good old time. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here, Sag, so I can get you out of here. And hopefully get you out of your head there, Sagittarius, because you got the Eight of Swords. And that's an intense combo, Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords, because, the Eight of Swords is like feeling trapped in our heads. That there's, that we're just, this energy of just feeling just kind of stuck and bound by the universe. And that's just our thoughts. Our thoughts are very powerful, Sagittarius. Their thoughts become things. They manifest. And if we're not careful about what kind of cycle that we get caught up in, then it can keep us rooted down. And then it kind of dries up because that water is supposed to represent your intuition. And that, it kind of, when we get in our head, it keeps us from connecting to source. And I feel like there's a balance that's needing to be established here when it comes to this energy. But let me get your oracle card here so I can get you out of here. I like that. Alright, so you got the 46 card here, Sagittarius. And when you add that in numerology, 4 and 6 is 10. Wheel of Fortune energy. And it's a card of regeneration. And that's what I feel like is kind of happening right now, Sagittarius. It's we're just kind of gone through. It almost looks like it's almost like it's like this land has been kind of scorched here or something along those lines. And now it's like how do we it's like we're growing from whatever this thing that may have happened to us, that may have felt us feel this sense of insecurity or something along those lines. But, just like the tree, then again, it's not going to take as long as a tree grows, Sagittarius, but I do feel like, again, it's something that is going to take a little time, something that's going to need a little patience before we really start seeing things kind of blossom there. But even in it's like its infancy here, this tree. I don't know if you can see this little beautiful little flower here that's kind of blooming. Again, there's going to be abundance along the way, but just be patient with it. And then I feel like this is all going to make sense why this stuff happens with time. And you'll be able to pass this little nugget of wisdom along to the next person who happens to go through this thing and shit. Because you're a very wise sign, Sagittarius. So, alright, I dig that. I think I'm going to leave it there, Sag. So, you stay safe out there, because I get that, with security and things, and try not to force stuff, Sagittarius. Do things that you can, that you can in this moment, and then just sort of watch as things kind of come together, and then you'll know when intuitively when to make that next move. You raise your vibration through the roof. Queen of Cups being in reverse, do some self-care. Take care of yourself. Something to kind of help you get out of your mind, to just maybe kind of quiet this. Maybe it's doing some reading, listening to some ambient music, or just doing some stuff that relaxes you there, Sagittarius. And I will catch you on the next one later. So be patient. I'm kidding.